From playing the role of an idiot in Feeling Minnesota to chain reaction ignoring the laws of physics despite being a sci-fi thriller. These are Keanu Reeves' worst movie roles. Feeling Minnesota had a lot of potential, and it could have been awesome if it had Jack Nicholson and Jessica Lange in their prime, but instead, fans got Keanu Reeves and Cameron Diaz, and the film instantly became ridiculous. These two can't act to save their lives, yet they're trying to convince everyone that they know what passion looks like. Reeves plays Jax, an ex-con who's also a total idiot. He comes back to Minnesota for his brother Sam's wedding, and trust me, he's an even bigger idiot. Their mom, played by Tuesday Weld, seems to be the source of their lack of intellect. As Sam works for a crime boss named Red, he's rewarded for finding a theft in the books by marrying Freddie. But Freddie's no angel, and you can tell just by looking at her. During her wedding reception, Freddie drags Jax into a room and things get real steamy. That's where they decide to make a run for it, and then rob a gas station for no reason. But it gets even crazier when Freddie wants to go back to Sam's place to find some stash he's been hiding from Red. Jax agrees to it, and now you've got three clueless schemers trying to outsmart each other. The only one with some sense is a waitress played by Courtney Love, who knows that something's up with Sam, but other than that, nothing about this movie's salvageable. While it was supposed to be like a badass Coen Brothers flick, it was nowhere near their level. But wait till I tell you about the complete letdown that was The Day the Earth Stood Still. This remake of the old-school 1951 sci-fi flick disappointed fans all over the world. They say classics should be left alone, but they went ahead and ruined it anyway. Keanu played this mysterious alien dude, and they had big names like Jennifer Connelly, John Hamm, Kathy Bates, and even a young Jaden Smith in there too. Sounds like it could have been crazy good, but they changed the original movie's theme from nuclear warfare to environmental destruction so that they could stay relevant to the time. It had potential, but then disaster struck. Reeves was all stiff and stoic as the alien, the script was a mess, and don't even get me started on Gort. They turned him into some Transformers wannabe from 2008, which nobody enjoyed. The film was a fail, and let's not forget the total mess that was 47 Ronin, a remake that flopped entirely. But if there's one film that people consider to be Keanu's absolute worst, it's Generation The indie drama dropped in 2013, in which Keanu plays John, a lost soul who drives escorts around the streets of NYC. The movie's basically just them aimlessly wandering around, contemplating the meaning of life, and recording it all with a stolen video camera. It all sounds great in theory, and with an idea this original and unique, it might have been decent, but the reviews for the film didn't hold back, calling it pretentious, shallow, and pointless. It's got the worst rating ever on Rotten Tomatoes, but if you think there couldn't be a bigger film disaster, let me tell you about Replicas. The plot's about this brainy neuroscientist who breaks all the rules and ethics to bring his family back to life after they died in a car accident. And while it sounded great on paper, nobody should have gotten their hopes up. The cast included Alice Eve and Thomas Middleditch, along with Keanu Reeves, but even their talent couldn't save this sinking ship. Replicas is filled with way too many plot holes, and there are moments so cringeworthy that you can't help but burst out laughing. The characters' actions are so confusing, and trust me, even a rookie could write a better flowing story than whatever this was. The movie flopped so badly that it vanished in no time, and nobody could tell it was even there. But no movie had the kind of potential that 2018's Siberia did. Starring none other than our man Keanu Reeves, it was directed by Matthew Ross. Even the cast was stacked with talent, featuring Anna Alaru, Pasha D. Lichnikov, Molly Ringwald, and many more cool people. Keanu plays Lucas Hill, a diamond dealer doing shady stuff with smuggled goods. He jets off to Russia to sell these rare blue diamonds to a scary gangster named Boris. But the deal goes south and the guy holding the diamonds disappears. Boris ain't happy and gives Lucas 48 hours to sort things out. And even though Keanu brings his action game to the table, the movie struggles to find stable ground. It's like Keanu had a moment on set where he decided he's just gonna wing it because there was no set planning. To no one's surprise, Siberia wasn't a crowd pleaser. Critics slammed it, and even fans said that the film wasn't for them. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a sad 12% from critics and a slightly better 16% from the audience. They called it boring, upsetting, and said the story was way too bleak to keep up with. The most surprising part of it all was that this was a passion project for Keanu. He spilled the beans to The Hollywood Reporter, saying he loved the emotional depth and humor in the script. He even helped write the screenplay based on the original story, and his fascination with Russian culture added to the mix because he's been studying their language for years. But let's be real, Keanu should stick to his epic action movies and steer clear of rom-coms and love stories. His track record in the romance department hasn't been the best, and Sweet November and Destination Wedding are two examples of romance films that didn't exactly light up the charts, despite having the amazing Winona Ryder alongside him. But trust me, there are worse films out there. I want to talk about Sweet November, a film fans considered to be a total stinker. If you were being super harsh, you'd call it one of the worst films ever made. And even if you want to be a bit kinder, it's still one of the crappiest flicks of the 21st century. Reeves went from kicking butt to this hot mess in just 2 years, leaving fans confused about what he was doing. The film was an overly dramatic tale about two polar opposites, Keanu and Charlize Theron, who fall head over heels in love. They decide to spend November together, living in a lovey-dovey fantasy world. But in a heartbreaking twist, the whole thing turns out to be pointless. Nothing gets resolved, and poor Nelson, Keanu's character, is left in an even worse place than before. But it didn't work out at all. The movie just leaves you feeling empty and unsatisfied. And because Nelson was supposed to be this huge jerk, Keanu was the worst possible choice for the role. While Sweet November was terrible, the most memorable flopped role that Keanu has is his role in Chain Reaction. The story revolves around Keanu playing Eddie, a machinist who's part of a team at the University of Chicago, working on finding clean energy solutions. They want to get rid of fossil fuels, which is cool, but it gets very boring in the movie. They try to spice it up with some action, like Keanu outrunning explosions on a motorcycle. But it's also kind of ridiculous when a movie about physicists ignores the laws of physics. While they're on the verge of a breakthrough, everything goes to pieces. The lab gets blown up and Keanu's work is stolen. Chaos ensues and everyone's confused out of their minds. They say the explosion leveled 8 blocks of Chicago, but there were still no deaths, which was pretty damn unrealistic. Keanu and Dr. Lily, played by Rachel Weisz, are innocent, but the bad guys framed them with fake evidence. Now, it's all about running from the law while clearing their names. But fans claim that the film's plot was way too similar to The Fugitive with Harrison Ford. Plus, the flick has a lot of problems, like how it messes with time and space like nobody's business. Supersonic motorcycles, explosions that don't kill anyone, and Keanu accidentally inventing clean energy. The movie's got it all. It's like they mashed up multiple films and hoped for the best. Keanu's acting wasn't the most convincing either. Sure, Chain Reaction probably had good intentions, but it was a total disaster. So there you have it. From Chain Reaction ignoring the laws of physics despite being a sci-fi thriller, to him playing the role of an idiot in Feeling Minnesota, those were Keanu Reeves' worst movie roles.